So with so many options out there when it comes to cheaper fragrances that are fresh, work well in the heat, they wear light, and they're easy to like, it's easy for a lot of really good ones to just fly right under the radar and not really get talked about much. And in this video, I'm bringing you 7 that I think are great to look out for at the rack stores or just a nice cheap deal online if you're looking to smell great on a budget. So stay tuned. Starting with a rack store darling, if you will, because every year there's a spurt where these pop up in the $15, $16, $17 range. Get a 50 ml DUNHILL Desire Blue. While there's a few flankers of this, Desire Blue is just so damn fruity, sweet, and aquatic. From the lychee note to the C notes, it's just delightful. Super under the radar, mouth-watering fruits because of the C notes with all these fruity notes. I believe there's a mandarin orange in here as well. Just delightful. Average performer, nothing super weak in my experience. And like I said, super cheap. You're gonna, even 20 bucks if you can find a 100 milliliter bottle, right around 20. But sub $20 range is gonna get you a 50 ml like this, and a 50 ml might be all you need. And the Desire line, one of my favorite designs of bottles ever. I love the curvature of it on the glass, and this one's just so beautiful. Everybody knows, well, most people know, blue is my favorite color, so this translucent blue, I'm just digging it. Cap style, flask style cap anyways. Even has a plastic that looks metal plaque on the bottom for fragrance information. Not that that's that important. I'm gonna spray it one more time. The scent is lovely on this one. Not some new fragrance that nobody's ever heard of before, but some of you that are newer to the hobby, you might not have heard of this one before. And if you've passed on this one before in the rack store, it's a little bit different. If you like fruity aquatics, it's a pretty good one. Don't overlook it. That's DUNHILL Desire Blue. Now, for as much spiciness that's in this fragrance, you wouldn't think it's the most aquatic beach poolside type of scent, but it actually is. It's a Tommy Hilfiger flanker. This is called Tommy Into the Surf. I actually did a full review on this one late spring, early summer of last year with Chad from A Gentleman's Journey on my channel. And it's got a strange quality to it. This bitter orange that's up top, the ginger really pops. There's a lot of spices here. I believe there's a little bit of cardamom in here as well. But it maintains a strong, fresh, airy, easy to wear appeal for as many spices that are in here. It's the strangest thing when you look at a note breakdown like this one has. I immediately don't think hot weather summertime fragrance, but it absolutely is. The name's even fitting Into the Surf. This is beach poolside type of stuff. Very easy to like, very quick spray on, dumb reach type of stuff. These Tommy flankers pop up at the rack stores all the time. This one came from a Marshall's. Average, slightly below average type of performance, but you're going to spend about $15 to $20. I would say more in that $16, $17 range, $14.99 maybe. You might even find them on clearance. These Tommy flankers are understated and super underrated in my opinion. Most of them, Tropics, Weekend, all that good stuff. Give them a try. Next time you see them out there, it's worth rolling the dice. If you're just looking for a good beach type of scent on a budget, Into the Surf is definitely one of those. Not the most off-the-wall scent DNA, even though it's full of spices, and I'm saying how fresh it is at the same time. It does smell similar to some fragrances, though not one particular fragrance jumps out at me that I can say, hey, this is similar to that. So it's got that going for it as well. Definitely flying under the radar in summer 2021. Maybe you should check it out next time you run across it. And that's Tommy Hilfiger, Tommy Into the Surf. Next, this one's been out for a while. It's been out for several years now. They do pop up at the rack stores, most notably at Ross Dress for Less is where I usually see them, but they do pop up at Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Burlington's, places like that. It's a very underrated Salvatore Ferragamo fragrance. I am talking about Salvatore Ferragamo Pour Homme Subtle. So they do have a new flanker called Subtle Fresh, which I did do a full review on. It's basically just a super generic Axe shower gel type of scent. The original, which is right here, in my opinion, is much, much better. Performance is a little bit better, 4 to 5 hours on this one. It has a nice fresh floral touch to go with this super fresh aquatic type of smell. Very watery, very, very easy to like. Not an overpowering scent, not some super heavy projector, but like I said, very easy fragrance to like, and you'll get a 100 milliliter bottle around $20. It's definitely bargain bin pricing, especially for what you'll get, and this is one of the most underrated Ferragamo fragrances. Definitely one that I believe everybody should give a chance next time you're at the rack store. You can find them online. Obviously, FragranceNet, FragranceX, all of the major online discounters most likely will have a stock of this. It's not something that's super popular. It's definitely one of those under the radar type of fragrances. While the new flanker to this is popping up at the rack stores for $17 for 50 ml, pass on that one if this one's sitting next to it. This is the better fragrance. Even though it's the older fragrance, it's still the one I would recommend that's worth checking out for your $20. It'll be better spent on this than the Subtle Fresh flanker. So another good one for this summer that's kind of been forgotten from the house of Salvatore Ferragamo. This is Subtle. Next, this is one that had some hype a few years ago. They pop up at the rack stores all the time. Very easy to get a 100 milliliter bottle for 20 bucks. But this is one I haven't featured on my channel in a while. It's gone to under the radar territory for sure. This is ERMENEGILDO ZEGNA. This is UOMO. So this one you can get pretty easily. They pop up a lot. Sporadic, but often. It's another violet leaf type of fragrance. Just so lovely. Super fresh. I can't stop spraying it and smelling it. I haven't worn it in a while myself, and it's one that I'm putting on my little rotation table that I will be wearing here in the very near future. I don't know what day, but this is going to jump in the rotation very soon. Lovely fragrance. Fresh, airy, violet leaf type of stuff. Like I said, easy to like. Doesn't smell overly unique, but it's not your run-of-the-mill fresh aquatic fragrance. And it's light and airy enough to wear in super high heat while still yielding decent performance. I always get around 6 to 7 hours when I wear this one. Now granted, this bottle's a little bit older, but I'm sure you can hear that. I've always loved that about it. Irrelevant for the way the fragrance smells, but I've always liked the bottle design. And this is one that's absolutely worth checking out. The bigger bottles pop up a lot more than these little bottles do. And like I said, if you like a good violet leaf fragrance, this is definitely a great cheap violet leaf fragrance that's going to run you 20 bucks or less depending on the size of the bottle. Like I said, 100 mLs, they go about 20 bucks. Little 1 ounce bottles like this, $10, $12 all day long when you see them. Sometimes you can find them on clearance for even less, because I paid $8 for this one. So keep an eye out next time you're in the rack stores. They are available from all the online discounters as well, just like with the last Ferragamo fragrance we spoke of. But this is another one that had hype in the past for being a great cheap fragrance, and it's still a great cheap fragrance. It's just like I said, it's under the radar now. ERMENEGILDO ZEGNA, UOMO. So these still pop up all the time at the rack stores. The 75 mLs more so than the 125 mLs. And this is not so citrusy for a summer fragrance. It's more herbal. It still has some citruses in here, and it's a super fresh appeal. It is John Varvatos Artisan ACQUA. Wow, long time viewers of the channel know how much I love Artisan Blue. This is one that doesn't get enough love. Man, very green, very watery at the same time for as green and herbaceous as it is. Super fresh, high quality, does not smell synthetic at all for a designer fragrance. That's one of the beauties of most of the John Varvatos fragrances. Not all, because John Varvatos, Nick Jonas, Crimson, and the original one, and actually all three of them, and Silver, they're all pretty synthetic for the most part. But the majority of the fragrances that have ever come from this house are pretty high quality for being a designer fragrance. And Artisan ACQUA is nothing short of quality for your money. The 75 mLs pop up for 25 bucks at the rack stores. You can get them online for a similar price point. This one, not as easy to find as it used to be, but they're still readily available all over online. And like I said, they pop up at the rack stores. Keep your eyes peeled at the rack stores, especially places like Marshall's and TJ Maxx. That's where I've always seen John Varvatos fragrances the most. Like I said, if you like a green, grassy, herbal, yet watery, fresh type of fragrance that is straight up quality, if any of that sounds good, you need to keep your eye on this one. Another one that had some love for a while, back to under the radar territory. It's time to bring this one back in the forefront. It's John Varvatos Artisan Aqua. One that nobody really talks about. I'm guilty of talking about St. Bart's. I've talked about Set Sail Martinique recently. The maritime fragrances get a lot of love. But what about just straight up Tommy Bahama? Now, I'm guilty of not wearing this one a whole lot either. But if you like watermelon, melon fruity type of smells that are super aquatic, this one doesn't smell anything like DUNHILL Desire Blue, but it's another fruity aquatic type of scent that, believe it or not, performs really well. This is the best performing Tommy Bahama fragrance I've ever sprayed on my skin. I get about 6-7 hours with this one. Not a beast, obviously, but for a Tommy Bahama fragrance, that's impressive longevity. And it's gonna not necessarily be unique, but it's so enjoyable to smell into where I'm gonna spray it some more, so I wanna smell it some more. Lovely, lovely. It's got a watermelon type of smell to it. While not smelling like Kenneth Cole Reaction, which I've stated many times smells like straight up watermelon juice, this one's got a lot more going for it. While not a complex fragrance, it's much more complex than Kenneth Cole Reaction is. And these pop up, mainly gift sets, I've noticed pop up at the rack stores, right around $20, $25, maybe $30. Worth it. If you're looking for a great, fruity, watery, woody, aromatic, aquatic type of scent, this is a pretty good one in my opinion. Not some super special fragrance, but it's not one that everybody's wearing. It's not one that everybody's talking about. And if you like the Kenneth Cole Reaction style, the super fruity watermelon scents, but you want one that's going to perform a whole lot better, I mean, way better, the original Tommy Bahama is definitely the way to go. Last, one that I have yet to pull out for the summer. It's about to start making its way into the rotation. It is my favorite green, herbaceous, fresh fragrance for the summertime. It's been featured 2 years straight in my Not So Citrusy summer fragrance list, and spoiler alert, it'll be in this year's as well in July. I'm talking about MIYAKE Le Bleu d'Issey Eau Fraîche. This is another one still readily available for 20 bucks all over online. eBay, places like that, still very, very easy to find. They pop up at the rack stores on a regular basis for $21.99. I see them not all the time, but sporadically I do see them pop up for these 75 ml bottles. Pretty heavy on the projection in my experience. You can overspray this fragrance. I've done 10, 12 sprays and been super loud with this one before. This one's more in the 7 spray territories, the comfort zone for me, because it does actually project pretty well. Very airy, rosemary dominated fragrance. I love a good rosemary fragrance. That's one of my favorite notes for a good fresh spice type of smell. And this one's done really well. Does not smell overly synthetic. Not a super long lasting fragrance, anywhere from 5 to 7 hours. I've had 6-7 hours into my day, me think it's gone, it's time to refresh, and be a few feet away from somebody and they tell me, ooh, you smell good. So I guess you can go anosmic to this one based on that story. But it's one that nobody talks about anymore. I believe it's been discontinued for a while now, but they're still readily available because it's not a super popular fragrance. And it's actually one of the best green, herbaceous, fresh designer fragrances out there that you can get in the $20 range. Don't hesitate if you like that style of fragrance. MIYAKE Le Bleu d'Issey Eau Fraîche. Well, that was the 7 I had for you. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. Which of these 7 do you have already, or have you procrastinated getting for a long time? It's maybe some that you've passed on over and over, or ones that have piqued your interest but you never strongly considered getting before. Maybe now's the time. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these 7 and you give them a spray now, might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.